Hey there, folks. Welcome to I said this last week, but what should be our final session of Once More Into the Void by Nedjadi. For this particular run, we are drawing on Cassandra Khaw's The All-Consuming World for inspiration. Before going too far into things, I want to do a quick round of introductions for folks watching. I am Stephen, he, him. I today am playing Mother Rent, our self-destructing weapon of mass destruction, I guess. They use they she pronouns. We had a whole team bonding exercise with Captain Blooming the other week. You know, murder another version of yourself. That's like good therapy with a friend. That's good therapy right there. If we could go around to you, Maria, and then we'll introduce Leandro.
Yeah, hello, I'm Maria. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing EL the Reformed, who uses she, they pronouns. Yeah, speaking of, good bonding experiences with the captain, rescuing your co-conspirator in the surgery that messed up the captain is a good bonding experience, right? We went off and rescued a person who is like a double agent, triple agent. I lost track of how many betrayals they've been doing. And everyone on my ship is a little bit self-destructive, except for me. I am well adjusted and going to survive this mission. I hope, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, Leandro.
Yeah, hi, I'm Leandro. Him pronouns. I'm playing the aforementioned Captain Rosafina Blooming, who by near the end of this game we found out is the clone of a person who's in charge of the enemy planet that we're meant to face. Cool. All right. So a lot of bonding did happen at the captain or with the captain. It's mostly at the captain. No, yeah.
I'm gonna bond at you, Captain.
It's now I'm here to burn. And yeah, throughout that last session, they've just kind of become really determined to at least like end the threat that they kind of came from, I guess, because certain revelations were that even that Mother Rant helped create the enemy planet. Captain Blooming was like kind of like an offspring, or was a creation of said planet's denizens, and now she's taking it back to them. The help of one self-destructive crewmate, the other who's not. But screw them, they did a terrible surgery to me, so why should I care? Good mindset to bring in to the finale, for sure.
Great. Yeah, and as we were saying, of course, this game is hosted on the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet, for folks who don't know, is an online game community mostly focusing on role-playing games of the Indian OSR variety. Besides publishing a zine called The Codex and several other gaming podcasts, it also runs a gaming calendar, but this and many other games are organized through every month. If you're interested in playing with any of the folks here today or any of the other people on the Gauntlet, feel free to jump on through the link below, as the calendar is open to non-members. As always, we are making use of an open door policy. If at any time you need to step away, feel free to bring it up. This is something we actually brought up last time. We decided we were a little bit too burnt to continue through the last hour, so we decided to cut the prior session an hour short, and we are going to pick things up this session, which I assume is also going to run short, but we have a way of really drawing these mini games out, so we'll see how long it takes. Yeah, they're also, just to kind of quickly bring it up, we're going to make use of a couple other safety tools, which I'm not going to get into detail about because everyone here knows them. We're also making use of the X card, lines and veils, as well as script change. If you're interested in knowing more about any of that stuff, there are also documentation on the Gauntlet website that you can take a look at. That basically takes us through our opening spiel for the evening. So the question is, I want to throw it out to y'all. Are we interested in going once more into the void, or are there any kind of loose ends that people want to tie up with mini games before we jump into things?
I don't know if everyone else, but the captain, I don't think so. I think they're ready. They're down. There's nothing else to do but do it. They've completed all the side quests basically. Everything that's lingering, and the DLC won't be out for another couple months. So
yeah, and you can just restore a save file once it does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can just go back to like the previous save. Apparently, I heard the DLC is to patch the ending to make it better, because fans were annoyed. Shout out to all you Mass Effect 3 haters. But yeah, no, the captain's all good.
Improved endings, just group sex. That's it.
No, improved ending is just like, oh, we wanted our epilogue. We want to build a house with our waifu endings, or the checklist of here's what happened to every species. Screw ambiguity. We want all. We want our needs to be catered with. And okay, now this beef is literally 10 years old. I can't be getting back into this. Like,
I mean, I'm not saying the improved ending is for Mass Effect is group sex. I'm saying that our ending is just group sex.
Okay,
that's it.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't even get that in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah. But yeah. I mean, I know, EL. Look, everybody complains about the romance in Mass Effect, but if we just stripped out all the shooting and made it a dating sim, there you go. There's the game right there. That's what we all came for.
What is a loyalty mission if not that part of like the Bachelor
I know.
or Bachelorette where you go off with
Exactly.
the person by yourself and find out if you're meant to be together forever?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, because in Mass Effect, you get through the shooting bits to get to the actually important stuff, which is talking to people.
Yes.
When you find them in their designated space on the ship.
I am still okay. Sorry, this is a tangent. I am still annoyed that that there is literally a silicon-based alien species. And the guy is like, no, sorry. I only do hetero sex with humans. Dude, I mean, dude, you literally, it is for me, it is having sex with a rock. So, I mean, we're pretty beyond the labels of male and female here.
Yeah. That's what you get. That's what we get when we, voiced our needs for romance on AAA video games. They're never gonna be queer enough.
Okay. Anyway,
so we have this thing. Yeah. Thanks, Maria.
I mean, this is really one of the core elements of Ray's game, which is provide a starting point for conversations about Mass Effect. But yeah. So are folks interested? Maria, it sounds like Leandro's pretty much cool with jumping once more into the void. Are you cool with that?
I think I'm ready to jump back into the void. There's a little bit with my reformation and whether or not I accepted my past as a person who's done terrible things, but I feel like that might come up. Maybe I don't know what's gonna happen. So that could still be there, and I don't really think I have any ideas for mini games to bring that in. So I'm cool just jumping in and seeing what happens.
So once more into the void. Is this our triumph or our downfall? Once More Into the Void is a minigame for all crew members about the final mission to face the enemy. This is the climax of the game, and failure, betrayal, and death beckon you closer. This is everyone's one shot at to be big damn heroes. It will take loyalty and luck to see you through. When you choose this minigame, make sure everyone is ready to conclude this story and game together. This is the last game, and everyone plays. And then before playing this minigame, every player draws one last card for the loyalty draw. As always, each card is drawn face up. So how about we start with you, Captain? And then we'll go clockwise.
Yeah. Hey. Okay, I drew a
The
red
enemy
card.
grows stronger. The player describes a brief glimpse of the enemy and how they become more terrifying.
You know how there's like a lot of like denizens who's worshiping the original Rosafina blooming? What if like the nanotechnology is like taken over so much that they all look like Rosafina blooming? Not to like
Wonderful.
really center my character, but like, yeah. If our folks okay with that, I should say.
Sure, that's great. I just made a note. Everyone is Rosafina. They're in our notes. I'll draw next. Let's see what I get. And it's a 4. Let's see. What am I going to describe this as? Because I need to say what my regained loyalty looks like, because I dearly need black cards. I think I think it's my belief is that whatever EL is, she is not the killer that Mother Rent needs for this mission. And like, that's why in the end, Mother Rent needs to protect her and not Captain Blooming. That's my belief. EL, you gotta draw one now.
All right. That's a black card. I should decide if I am keeping this or giving it to another player. I think I'm gonna keep it and just add to my giant collection. And I think this is representing almost like a sense of acceptance, maybe seeing like coming upon or seeing parts of the enemy. Maybe I don't know if we've seen parts of the enemy planet or what we know about it, but if EL has any inkling of how important Rosafina blooming is to the enemy, how well connected they are, I think this is a sense of acceptance that like the only people who can really deal with the situation are maybe the captain and Mother Rent, and EL is there to help, and they're just going to do what they can to make it so that they can do what they need to do, because they're really intertwined in whatever the enemy is.
Great. So that is our loyalty draw. So, Captain, you declare the circumstances of the final mission. There are some ideas there on page 52, but this is kind of a broad thing about what this final mission is and what the crew is going to do to disrupt or stop the enemy somehow.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at the previous updates we had, and the one before the everyone is Rosafina is Campina is now eating a gas giant. So I'm not sure if middle one is. I do like the third one, which is the enemy has done something desperate to disrupt time and space. The crew must travel to the enemy stronghold and make things right. We had a question in the chat. We only get to see them once. So right after the loyalty draw, it says, at the end of this loyalty draw, the captain shows every other player all the enemy cards, which is gonna be a lot of work. There's 18 of them. Then we gauge the strength. But the thing is, I don't know what that means because it's been a while since I played this mini game.
We'll get through it. So what do we think they're doing then? You're talking about disrupting time and space.
Yeah, I think they've definitely found a way to breach the conversation of the different minds. I think all the stuff they've been doing to build up the planet and turning it into kind of its own entity. I think at some point there's a description of it having a face. Mm-hmm. They're basically building their own mind, basically, but a mind whose gravity is such that if it enters the conversation, everyone has to listen to it. It basically takes over. Its voice is louder than every other mind. So I think maybe it's bearing down on wherever a gravity well, but AI. There's actually a fun concept in the most recent X-Men where there's these societies called Titans, where society became so advanced, just advanced in its thinking and its physics and whatnot, that space and time just collapsed, and that's how you get a black hole. I think that's what it's trying to do. Maybe it's bearing down on because it's bearing down on some planets it ate a gas giant and whatnot, but I think it's bearing down, and the reason why it's been infiltrating things is just to gather info, but I think it's bearing down on a planet or a station that's kind of an entryway into the conversation.
Cool. So I think so are we going with the crew must travel to the enemy's stronghold and make things right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then each crew member describes what has changed about them since we last saw them. This may be the last time we see you. What hasn't changed about you throughout this story? I don't know if that's is that a rhetorical question or something we're supposed to answer?
Not sure. I mean,
I know the first one we answer, but I'm not sure is that just posing a rhetorical question to us, or is it saying
I almost feel like we should answer it.
Yeah.
Every other time we've said what's changed. So
yeah, we do say what's changed here as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I think for the captain, you can see their eyes are fully clouded silver now. It ripples kind of with the static effect, but you can see the eyes have kind of changed. What hasn't changed? Well, besides a switch in the hair color, which is now pure white, still look like fucking Captain Rosafina blooming. They still have the rumpled Victorian romantic clothing in space. They've still got the cane. like if you look at her silhouette, like it's still basic. Despite everything, it's still them somehow.
I think for EL, they have, I think they finished working on their exoskeleton, and I think they are wearing a visor that's like part of the heads-up display for it. And then maybe they have like gloves as well that help them interface with it when they have to fight. And I think what hasn't changed throughout the story is they started out being beautiful. And I think like even though they have aged, there is still sort of a severe sort of like beauty to them that has maybe been like even highlighted by the fact that now they're older and more tired, and maybe their skin is pulled tight in a sort of pointy way.
I think that there has always been something like until now mourning about Mother Rent, but I think this is the first time we see Mother Rent rageful. And I think though the thing that has remained always true of Mother Rent is that there's always been a sense of something scarred and broken about her that hasn't really truly recovered. Like there's still a sense that there are wounds that either physical or emotional or psychological she has not recovered. But yeah, that's our opening bit there. I think then during the final mission, anyone may ask for details about the locations, relationships, or circumstances as always. So, beginning the final mission, you are a crew and you face the enemy together. The captain takes the enemy cards and deals them equally to all crew members, including themselves, face down. So we'll have them in our hand, but they'll be face down. The captain keeps any remaining cards. On each turn, the captain chooses who faces the enemy. Yeah, I guess the captain keeps the remainder if there is one, is what it's saying. But there are 18 and 3 of us. So I think, is it? Oh. Let me just shuffle the stack.
So yeah, we get 6 each.
Yeah, so I'll just, it says, oh, okay. So actually, it is automatically flipped up if it's moved into your hand.
And I'll just make piles.
We'll just have like 3 piles for each of us.
I'll make my pile here on the far left. 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops.
Oh.
I'll just shuffle that stack.
Sorry.
There we go.
2, 3. Oh no. Great news, I can count to 6.
Okay. All right. So let me turn back now to our PDF. Do not reveal the enemy cards until you face a challenge. On your turn, choose a challenge to face and answer. Yeah. On your turn, choose a challenge to face and answer the question. Then take the enemy hand you were dealt, reveal it, and determine the total challenge number. The total challenge number is the sum of all of each card's value. An ace is 1, Pip's card is the value of the card, and royals are 10. To face the challenge, reveal all cards from your hand. The sum of all cards in your hand is compared to the total challenge number. And then there are some other rules here. When a crew member fails the challenge by 6 or more, anyone can choose to sacrifice their character to save the crew member. When this happens, narrate the nature of your sacrifice. The failure is turned into a match. If the crew member who sacrifices themselves did not face a challenge, then the crew member's enemy cards are discarded. Who wants to take the first challenge?
Andrew gets to order us around.
Yeah, on each turn, the captain chooses who faces the enemy. This might actually be quicker than I thought. Really, we need to do 3 challenges.
Yeah, this game has definitely shortened this bit a bit.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because I think in the original, like there was like there were like 5 or 6 challenges,
I
maybe.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember there was like a lot of there's some cards being used to add to the score and whatnot. All right, this is like much simpler. We could have done this last week, but no, it was just this. It's fine. Okay. All right. You know what? Mother Rent, you're up first.
Okay. In that case, let me see here. An old friend appears and betrays us at a critical moment. The only way past this horror is if I confess a dark secret to you. We're confronted by someone unreal. Or I'm not going to read all this out loud. Let me read silently now.
Yeah, there's 2 pages of challenges. I already know which one I want to take.
Now, the thing is, I was seeing that one and I was like, that could be Brother Telecoms. But then I see the question is, why can't we raise our weapon against them? And I'm like, nah.
You would.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with the first. The enemy outnumbers us. We are outmatched and outgunned. Why are we unprepared? Oh, right, I answer this. I mean, obviously, because someone decided to vent most of the ship means that all of the equipment that we needed to really deal with the kind of massive defensive. What was that?
Oh, sorry.
To deal with the defensive emplacements aren't there. And like, I think Mother Rent is like actually exposing what remains of her like aid ship's self in order to like actually for us to have an opportunity here. So this is like a full-on, not just like an underdogs versus a Death Star. This is now like a Death Star versus Death Star battle. So let's see here. Now, I know what I'm probably going to get, but I might as well flip these cards and see what I get. So let's see. That's 10, 19, 20, 30, 37, and that's 41. Okay, and I have in my hand 7, 10, 17, 21. There we go. So I failed by about 20 points.
So realize if you had like at least one or two more,
Oh
there'll be
no.
more willing sacrifices.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah, you see, this is what I was saying. We're gonna find out finally how few cards I have in my hand.
It's so
Today.
few cards.
Oh no.
I mean, yeah, I think
I'm
that
actually glad we took a week off because now I'm more prepared for this.
I think that there is a moment where like and this is clearly more than you had bargained for, Rosefina, EL. This is more than any of us bargained for. And how can we even manage this? And I think that Mother Rent just stares forward and says, "Oh, do not worry. I have a plan." And then she gives a kind of mysterious flicker of a smile at you, Rosefina, and a sad look at you, EL. "I do apologize for what I did." And you see the aid ship, its remnant, just crash into the planet. And this is effectively like two planets crashing into each other because the aid ships are massive. This is just a apocalyptic imagery right here. You can feel the wave of like the explosion, I think, rattle your ship. And Mother Red is gone.
Wow. How do you react to that?
Oh no.
As we use the apocalypse to like make our way to the stronghold.
Yeah, I think there's probably like yelling and just like maybe like angry yelling, like, no, wait, you weren't supposed, this wasn't actually supposed to happen. You aren't supposed to be the first one to go. But like as the blast wipes out, maybe part of the aid ship, EL probably like blinded by this like apocalyptic sight, just looks over at the captain, and just like looks at the captain trying to see whether this explosion of Mother Rent burning up has like shaken the captain's resolve to do the same thing, or like if the captain still looks like that's what they plan to do.
I think the captain looks impassively at the explosion. And then when they turn to you, and then you hear the captain's voice behind you go, "Duck," as the captain in front of you starts to like, their face starts to like melt and explode into like some sort of nano wire machinery monstrosity, and behind you the actual captain will kind of like make you like duck as they can like draw their cane out and let loose all these like funnel fire. And I think like when you see the actual captain, their hand is like holding you, they look sweaty, disheveled, and absolutely like taken back by the explosion. They look like shit. Like a very sweaty face. Can't tell if half that's sweat or half that's tears. And I think like you're an exoskeleton, but the captain's holding onto your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think like yeah, they shoot their lasers at the other captain, and you see like more of them are like coming out of the ground. I think we're in kind of like a ruined kind of like city, kind of like, actually no, we're like on the wastelands outside like the city, and you see behind us is the explosion, and up and towards us is the tower where the original Rosalvine is waiting. And I think like Captain Blooming just tells you, "Run that far?"
Mother Rent couldn't do it. How are we even going to? There's
You better
two
just
of us.
stand here. If you don't run, I'm gonna make your skeleton run for you.
This is a suicide mission. But I think like EL starts like flipping switches on their like exoskeleton.
I think like Rosefina sighs, and I think like they crack something in their mouth and they spit out like a tooth, and you can see like on the tooth there's like this purple kind of transponder kind of thing, and puts it in like your pocket and say, "There, my last getaway scheme. That's for you now. Whatever happens, you've got an out."
What is it?
It's like it's kind of like a beacon to like teleport you out of here. Like
Okay.
all this time, Captain Blooming has had that in the back of their mouths.
Fantastic. I think Yell can't really touch. I guess they can touch the pocket. They're holding your hand and they'll like reach in and like feel around and like recognize what it is. And I think like they'll look at you with like something like very much afraid, but also grateful, but also like a little bit ashamed that they are grateful. And maybe they'll like, I don't know, you can, I'm in an exoskeleton. I can probably run faster than you. So maybe I'll like pull you up onto this exoskeleton so we can get where we need to go.
Clearly, you carry me in your arms.
Clearly I carry you in my arms to and like shield you from the things going on.
I've got my lasers around us.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Steven. We're role playing now. We don't need you.
So we must.
It's okay.
We must take a dangerous path behind enemy lines to secure a tenuous route to victory. How is the enemy relentless? So we're in like the wasteland, and there is a tower.
Yeah, we're headed towards the tower. We have to get through like the wasteland where all these like other me's are crawling out of the ground.
And I think it is like relentless in the most obvious way possible. It's like it's a constant onslaught of Rosafinas. It's not even that there are so many of them, it's that they're very hard, like they're nanobot creatures. They're not easy to disable. They're able to like reform. So it's just like almost like a wave of them coming at us. And so as we're making our way through, and I have like you in my arms trying to like sort of shield you with the exoskeleton and like pumping my legs to get as far as possible, like we are being shot at. This exoskeleton is not going to be in great shape if I survive this. And yeah, so I will see if this works.
How will you possibly succeed here? I don't know. I don't know.
This is my pile. That's a 10 enemy. That's a 17 so far. 27. 35. 37. 40. Wait, 37 plus 8
45.
is 45. Okay, there's a struggle there. It's fine though. I have so much loyalty. That's a 10. That's another 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 10. I could just keep going. Like I beat it, but you know, why not? Look at this. Great. Fantastic.
So let's see.
3, 4, 5, 60.
69, 73, 80, 82.
I guess. Anyway, So I matched that challenge. How do I shield us from the worst of it? It is literally what I have described. It is using my body, the exoskeleton that I've created with Mother Rent's inspiration and help, probably a little bit of fiddling around with that. And I pushed through as fast as possible, keeping as much of the captain covered and as much as my like physical body covered, angling if I need to, doing exoskeleton parkour if I need to. I am like the big boy robot carrying small clone captain towards this tower, and just like flinging all the different Rosafinas, like basically body checking all of them, I think, because I can't really let go if I'm shielding you, from like left and right to get through.
Okay, I think like yeah, we parkour our way up the tower, and kind of make it to like we'll say it's like the doorway right outside of the, I don't know, throne room, wherever she is, the actual Rosafina blooming. And I think yeah, my past catches up with me and I have no choice but to face it. Why must I face this alone? I think what happens when we get like up there, I think um when we're the both of us are like waiting, are like, you know, the door is like there and we know like we just have to get through here, get to her and see if there's a way to like at least stop this planet. Turns out the downside of making everyone else in this planet like her is that she's kind of like the linchpin of this whole thing. Proper fantasy sci-fi video game logic, you know. Why must I face this alone? Because I mean, I can't just tell you to like, no, you wait out here. I think the captain has one last like cruel twist up her sleeve. I think like I think the door is opening and Captain Bloom will just say, "You're very brave to have shown me the worst of you. Yeah. Very kind as well."
I think EL is just like still blocking off shots and other Rosafinas. It's like, is this really the time for whatever this is? Get whatever this is you need to do done, and then we need to get out of here.
I didn't realize you'd still be blocking off some. The other cool twist would have been like to lock down the exoskeleton so you can't follow me. But if you're still blocking off other Rosafinas, that's much more heroic.
I mean, you can also, I don't know.
No, but like they'll leave you vulnerable. No. I think like I think Captain would just kind of like smiles and says, I just wanted to say I wish I was as brave as you. I don't want you to see what's through that door. One could say it's the worst of me.
You don't have to accept that. You can start over once this is done. I started over, kind of, and you showed me how. You gave me a chance. Don't talk as though it's the end.
At night, they said we were going to burn.
She's already burned. You didn't burn with them. Maybe that's all the burning that's necessary.
The backdrop is like this incredible apocalyptic fire that, yeah, if no one takes care of it, will eat up the planet, I think. Like, if no one, I say as in the actual Rosafina blooming, who's like there, who could probably repair it if she could concentrate. You hold on to that transponder. And looking like Josephina will walk in. And I think beheld a lady on her throne. Yeah, Steven, you want to play me?
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, maybe we should draw our cards here to see how this plays out.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that first. Okay. What is the strength of Rosafina Blooming, the parent god queen of this planet?
Yeah.
All right. 4. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. It's 15. 4. 32. Okay. Oh, come on. 35. It felt like the here was like harder.
I'm remembering that one bit from Gargoyles where there are evil clones of all the gargoyles and like all of them decide to be good in the end except one of them. And they're like, no, you can't be the only one that becomes evil. It reflects really poorly on me.
Yeah, all right. Here's what I got. I got a 4. I was gonna miss. No, I don't have the exact same hand. That would be amazing. That would be actually amazing. I've also got this. Let's see. 15, 25. Ooh, this is actually quite close. Hold on, I lost count. 15, 25, 26,
No.
28, 29.
Oh, okay.
30, 31, 32. The exact same value. Oh, wait, is it? Actually, no.
Is it?
Did she get 32 or 35? No, she doesn't go. I think she had 35. I think I've lost.
Yeah.
No, so barely over. Okay. Whew. All right. Not the worst. I lost by 1. That was closer than I thought.
Yeah, so here is a question. If EL does not, EL could sacrifice herself here, save you and the galaxy, or you could choose to heroically die here and or flee yourself, Captain, and we just lose. That's it.
Didn't you win this? Because that's 32 that you have. And then
What does she have again?
I thought she has more, like 15, 24.
Over 24. I just can't
32, 35.
Yeah.
Just don't look at me. Goodbye. I'm leaving the internet.
No,
Yeah.
Over. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is a toughie. Those are some tough questions there, Steven.
Well, the thing is, I should note here, whether or not EL sacrifices herself, that's up to EL. You don't actually get a say in that, Captain.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I'm pretty certain that's the way the rules are written here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your crew member fails to challenge. Oh no. When crew member fails to challenge by 6 or more.
Oh no! Right.
Yeah, no.
So I can't
we just fail.
This is up to you
because you don't. Yeah, we're just going to the galaxy falls.
Yeah.
But yeah, describe the not like I think it's like it's not that you like actually lose. It's not that you die here. It's that you just falter, I think.
Yeah, my pride costs me. Yeah, if I fail by 5 or less. All right, yeah. 5 or less, yeah. That is, I failed by 3. Whew. How does my pride catch me? So what do you got?
I think that as you're brought in, as you come in, Well, it's good to know that my clone isn't an entire failure. You at least made it here.
I'm the one who makes it all worthwhile. After all, if I was a big failure, why turn everyone else into you?
So what is your plan here? Exactly. You have crap. Your aid ship has broken itself upon me. And you have a angry X at your back beyond the door.
Did you believe I said all I wanted was a kiss? From the one other person in the galaxy who can kiss that worth a damn.
God, we are so pretentious. And she pulls you in and kisses you. And you can feel in that moment. And if you want, you can answer how does your pride cost you here, but I have a thought for how your pride costs you if you want.
Yeah. I had an idea for like how they would have prevailed. The plan was that part of why Josephina gave up the genetic code all the way back at the beginning and had it all burnt up was because they didn't want to prevent like themselves from like degenerating, and their plan was like to transmit this like degenerative virus onto the original Blooming by kissing her. But what's your idea for her? Because obviously that's not going to work.
She looks in your eyes and says, "You thought you were always the protagonist of this story, Blooming. But in the end, all you have ever been is a tool, my tool. You are my back door into the conversation. And now that you're here, it has opened up to me."
I think like once I realized like after the kiss that like
Yeah, that was what
I
the
think
kiss was.
I think like at that point I just like I tried to say something but it comes out like a hoarse kind of like yell as I think my body just gives up. Like I think like I make a reach for where EL is and just like fall on the ground. And I think I'm trying to like crawl my way towards her, but I can't even like do one arm like crawl as like suddenly I just give my body just gives up.
Yeah. So before we narrate too much further here, I want to throw this out to the group. The crew has failed most of the challenges against the enemy, so we need to choose one of the failure endings here. So either the enemy prevails and our worst fears come to pass, or all hope seems lost, but help arise from an unlikely source. You can take a chance to look at those two. Both of them have different questions. One involved the enemy prevails and our worst fears come to pass. Basically, eventually someone will come along to defeat the enemy, but not for a long time. Or the enemy is defeated temporarily for now, but the galaxy is wounded and will one day fall. So those are our two options.
An idea for who the new heroes are.
I also have
Cool.
an idea for who could be new heroes.
Yeah. So I think let's cut to that and we'll find out. I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess I want to, I guess actually, like, if that's what we're going with, I want to ask, like, Rosefina, do you make it out?
So
I guess
I
I'll
can
also throw this over to EL. EL, are you willing to just, you have that back door. Is EL willing to just leave Rosefina even though that's what you promised her?
I think like to know just so EL knows that was me shooting gone. I think like the door is open again as you're valiantly, and I think um a corpse is like thrown out by the original Josefina. And you can tell that yeah, that's your captain there dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if, like, do you think Rosa, like, I'll throw this out to you. If you really want your character dead, that's fine. Like, do you think she has what she wants? Does she need to kill you now?
Mm. The thing is, like, she can just bring me back.
Yeah. Except that you
Yeah.
destroyed your genetic code, so she can, but
Oh,
EL
she-
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. EL can. She'll have. Yeah, EL have to come back for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
I was just checking.
if your
Yeah.
body is being thrown out of the room, I think EL would grab it, and then not knowing whether or not you're alive, you don't leave the body of your dead captain behind, and then I think use the emergency transponder to get out of there because clearly things have gone badly, and I don't know, maybe we see wherever this transporter transports me to, EL lands like on their knees with the captain's body, and we'll find out whether or not the captain made it out alive.
Cool.
Let's say
So
you land in
yeah.
front of the diner.
Yeah, we can land in front of the diner. I was actually, or maybe I was thinking like landing in front of the colony that Mother Rent had,
Mhm.
with the poet kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But whichever one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
So the enemy prevails and our worst fears come to pass. Is that the one we're all cool with? I know Leandro suggested that.
Yeah, that one sounds good.
Cool. We each take turns describing how the galaxy is forever changed from our failure, but from the ashes of our despair, an unlikely hope rises. So, does anyone have like something they want to throw out here? We can open if someone has a really strong idea. I'm almost imagining that it's almost that the enemy turns the existing minds upon each other. Like there's this massive war that happens over the heads of humanity. Maybe even humanity is caught in the crossfire of this in places. EL, do you have a thought?
Yeah, I think that since the minds held the real knowledge and expertise in cloning, I think that because of like this war and Rosefina Blooming's, the originals, like mind self enveloping everything, I think that all of the clones that aren't of Rosefina Blooming, like normal clones, they start to like degenerate. Like it becomes harder and harder to keep them, to like bring them back as that technology becomes more scarce. So the population starts to disintegrate almost.
I think then the last thing how the galaxy's changed forever is like I think as part of that war, the enemy planet starts to like expand its reach, the gravitational pull of its like technology, is starting to grow, and soon it becomes an entire system of planets. Not like a whole, probably like half of like a solar system, not a full one, but like a constellation even, as it kind of like takes over.
Yeah, and I think to kind of play off of this is just kind of an addition to play off of something we kind of brought up in the very first about what the stakes here are. I think that not everyone, but throughout the galaxy, some people change. Not in a way that's immediately obvious or clear, but the enemy claims hosts throughout the galaxy, and no one knows who is and is not an agent of the enemy. And this is an age of paranoia and fear. I mean, the AIs were there, so I guess it was still an age of paranoia and fear before, but different paranoia and fear.
Woo!
Yeah.
Is this a time for heroes?
Who are the new heroes, and how do they ultimately prevail against the enemy long after we are gone? I mean, I want to throw out that oh, let me see here. I'm forgetting everyone's names. I want to throw out that on the secret artist enclave, one of the minds to survive is Truffle. That Truffle does emerge as the true hero of the story.
Yeah, Truffle, the poet kid, grows
the
up
poet
to
kid,
become like a poet warrior.
Remembering Rosefina blooming and their interaction that one time.
Yeah, the way they combat like the enemies, like to create basically their own conversation.
Oh yeah, that's totally they create like the two of them together create weaponized verse or something like that that cuts through the conversation like a blade.
Can I throw out that it's like maybe more abstract, more fluid, and more organic than like maybe the old conversation? Like this is one built out of like abstract art and the ideas that the artist colony had been building on their own.
Awesome. So that takes us through all of our mission. So now we go very last page, the epilogue. After playing the final minigame once more into the void, it's time to say goodbye. Make it count. Each player refers to their epilogue question. Answer the question freely. I'm going to go through based on the order they appear here in the PDF. So, Captain, why don't you ask your question?
How did I make amends and heal my damaged legacy? I think the captain was trying to do at the end by the last few mini games, I'm gonna say, is to like just kind of like leave no stone unturned between her and the remaining crewmates. So acknowledging Mother Rent's like sin and the need to burn, and at the end there, kind of like giving kind of like a bit of that forgiveness that they wanted. And I think them stepping towards the jaw of the enemy to try and take it all out, even though it didn't work. Well, clearly it stays an inspiration, which is wild because the enemy literally she has the enemy's face. But I think like that story, that I guess people know that in the face of such all-encompassing all-consuming conformity. Okay? Even those wearing that face can choose differently. The issue is Steven said, it's anime, you have different hair, created different people, that's how it is. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yeah, the original Rosafino probably still has like the black hair. Has to be contrast to Captain Bloom's white hair.
Cool. EL, why don't you take a look at the reformed question?
Yeah, my question is, how did I kill my past and heal my justified anger? Oh, I mean, I do think EL spent a lot of time running away from their past instead of dealing with it. But I think they started to plant the seeds of handling it towards the end. At least with the captain, with like the past of doing the bidding of their organization to injure the captain. I think the way that they killed their past was by moving past the past, just driving forward into the future, into what they hoped would be the future, and just kind of trying to build something out of the mistakes that they had made. And yeah, I don't know if they really healed their justified anger. I don't know if they were really had a lot of that in them. They just had committed crimes in the past, and that was really what they were dealing with.
Cool. Yeah, and I am the bound. How did I rediscover my faith and heal the fear I have for myself? I mean, honestly, I think it's EL. Like that is the answer to that part. I think that in the end, I decided that there is a thing beyond the knowable in the sort of chance that cannot be entirely subsumed to that I guess rests beyond the strict capacity to like categorize and collect through data. Like that kind of last like 0.1% of the 99.9% of the known. That is EL and what she has achieved. And I mean, we know how I healed the fear I have in myself. I decided that like, look what Blooming and I were to be are the killers. We are not we are not the prize. We're the mechanism and the to the ends. I think that's me. So yeah. Thank you everyone for accompanying us to this tragic ending. It was great fun. I loved all my time I had with everyone. We're gonna go off air now to do some stars and wishes, but until then, I'll be seeing you all.